any of the existing Lila figures, they are not touching this one. This is completely at a whole different level. Hi and welcome back to the channel. I'm Steven, bringing you your weekly figure news fix, this time around 24th to 29th of March 2025. So I suppose that the first quarter of the year is over. This week we have a lot of new figures on pre-order, especially pop-up parades for the genuine side, and third parties, well, a little bit less, but we still have some nice stuff. What is the main highlight this week? Sometimes I really struggle to come up with a title for my weekly figure videos when there is no clear winner on which figure is the best of the week. Usually the main highlight of the week goes into the title. Well, I think the new Max Factory scale figure from Atelier Ryza is one of the top contenders, and I guess that Q figure, the Army exclusive, that Priestess figure from Egypt of some kind. I really like that figure, but Army exclusive, which really sucks. Anyways, without further ado, let's move on to Hobby Link Japan for the genuine scale figure section. And I've selected the scale figures as usual, starting off with the largest scale. We have Paramount Studio 1x4 Ultimate Premium Master Line BNHA, Tomura, Shigaraki, Dabi, and Himiko Toga DX version. From 326,000 yen down to 306, so a 20,000 yen discount. Not bad at all. It is less than 10% when you look at the percentage, but still a nice price cut. And I know, very expensive, very exorbitant, but we are looking at 3 1x4 scales in resin. So I would say not too surprised. Yeah. Sometimes I do wonder what is the market size for statues like this, It is like, how many units are sold globally? 100, 200? I find it hard to believe that it is a few thousand. Yeah. Of course, there might be more rich people out there than I initially expect, but still, what's the market size? I'm quite curious. Obviously, there is always a cheaper version for Paramount Studio stuff. For 40,000 yen less or so, you can get the standard version. But if you are buying something this expensive and you can really afford one, go all out. Yeah. Collect the full set because FOMO. These things will never get re-released ever again. So you might not want to miss out any extras in the set. Okay, moving on to the next 1x4 scale, we have 2B by Free Ink at 36,000 yen, releasing this December, and also A2, obviously a set with that 2B figure, 36k October release. Weird, October and December. Because A2 is a side character, A2 is not as popular, so they rush it out. 2B, they need to make sure that she is as perfect as possible, so 2 more months. I'm joking, obviously. Anyways, this figure is where my personal opinion can differ really greatly from the rest out there, from everyone else. This figure was incredibly popular in my Facebook page for reasons I personally couldn't understand. Because to me, 2B means, well, nice backside included over here, I guess. But where is a sword? But if I remembered correctly, there was a 1x4 scale of her with a sword, right? That was like 50,000 yen. Yeah. There's no way that sword is worth that much, but still. To me, a 2B in bunny figure, bunny outfits, I mean. And even worse, in this really dull looking pose, at 36,000 yen, I find it very hard to justify. But obviously, there are so many people who kind of indirectly disagree with me, because this figure was incredibly popular when I posted it on my Facebook page. About 100 shares. And 100 shares is actually little. It is not a lot for a Facebook page that has 56,000 followers. But at the same time, context is important. Like, Facebook has been pretty dead for a long time, and the only reason why I keep updating it is because I have that much followers there. But my followers have been stagnant, like the same 56k number for the past year or so. It is not growing at all. And number 2, if you do not pay up for a premium subscription, pretty much like X or Twitter have their own blue tick subscription for like $20 a month, Facebook has something very similar but even more expensive, or you do not pay for advertisement placement, then Facebook will greatly nerf your post. Like literally shadow ban it. Even if people share your post, their own friends will never see your post. So like you have 100 people who share your post, but you go and click and check out those posts, they have like 1 like, 2 likes because people are not seeing it at all. That's the thing. There's been occasions where I defied the odds. I still get 500, 1000 shares and great reach, great impressions, I mean a lot of comments in general. There were occasions where even Facebook's algorithm could not stop me. But in general, like 95% of cases, yeah, you have to bow down to the algorithm overlords. You can't do anything unless you pay up. So back to this figure over here. Given that my post normally get like 5 to anywhere between 5 to 20 shares, and this one is 5 times as much, that is saying something. Like, she's more popular than I expected for a plain looking bunny figure. And there were some of you who asked me in my Discord server, what is my opinion? And I told them bluntly, well, the post is like a 3 lock, so nah. Yeah. Still, I can see Fuing selling tons of this figure, given that everyone else likes it. I don't understand this part, yeah. Moving on to the next one here, now we go into 1x5 scale territory. Muzin-chan. Original illustration, Shiroi Akuma-chan, White Devil Girl. This is a re-release apparently, and obviously, is it the same artist as Eve, which is Rudo? Because that is totally his or her artwork, that face over there. It is the same face. Like, you can recognize it in a way. So this is 20,000 yen November release, and as always, be careful with figures by Beeful, Insight, and FOTS Japan. So there are 2 versions of this figure. I'm only showing you guys the safe for work version on screen. There is a not safe for work version where she is completely hadaka. Yeah. Funny that I call this safe for work, though you can't really display something like this on your work desk, right? Isn't it? Unless you work at home, of course. Moving to the next one, another Prime 1 Studio figure, 1x6 scale concept Masterline Black Clover, you know. So this is about 100,500 yen after discount. Small discount, 6,000 yen off, September release. September year 26, right? Yup, year 26. No way they're getting this out so quickly. Black Clover, from what I know, is insanely popular among those who love, yeah, shonen stuff. Not my kind of thing. But it is a beautiful figure for sure. One thing I really like Prime 1 Studio for is that the sheer number of sample product photos they actually show us. They upload a lot, and you'll see Prisma Wing, which I don't have much nice things to say about. Prisma Wing, if there's one thing that they are really similar to Prime 1 Studio, is that they also give us a lot of sample photos, yeah, which is always a good thing. Moving on to the next one here, yep, this Atelier Ryza figure over here. I call it that Atelier Ryza figure earlier because, of course, I can't remember names. So her name is Lila Decyrus, and there is no question that this is hands down the best scale figure of her ever made. There are a few of her scales out there, some already released, some not yet. The most recent one is probably the one by Solare, the swimsuit version, which was kind of meh on pre-order, I think. And then there was another one in this kicking pose, I can't remember which company. That one was fine as well. But any of the existing Lila figures, they are not touching this one. This is completely at a whole different level. 2 or 3 levels above the existing figures of her. And hot damn! As you guys know, I am a big lover of details on anime figures, and even though Lila may not be my favorite character in anime or games in general, boy do I want one. Yes. Not too surprised by the price over here, 32,500 yen, and that is without taxes, by the way. So I think the price at Ami is like 35, 36k, yeah. For one, it is a 1x6 scale just like Resin Stout, and Max Factory's Resin Stout, while being an amazing figure, wasn't my favorite Ryza figure. But if you were to get this one, then I think naturally you'll want the Max Factory Resin Stout figure because Max Factory is the only one doing 1/6 scale. Everyone else are 1/7. That is the unfortunate part. Can I recommend it a wholehearted yes? Max Factory is S tier. Yes, I regard them as S tier. Wow. Okay, moving on to the next one, 1/6 scale Riko-chan illustration by Kimishima Awo, limited edition with bonus by Pink Mango, 20,800 yen. Pink Mango is supposed to be an edgy figure brand, but for them to make a safe figure, interesting, unexpected, yep. March 2026 release. This is just bikini figure, isn't it? Just swimsuit figure. And there is a standard version as usual for 17,800 yen. If I have one comment about the artwork, the design of this character, this really reminds me of the mid-2000s or early 2010s anime. Yeah, there is a slight classic, slight retro look to it. If you have watched anime from the mid-2000s, yeah, around the Lucky Star era, Lucky Star, Suzumiya Haruhi, Clannad, and so on. Man, I feel old mentioning these animes, but yes, if you have watched anime around those era, Dark Couple as well, this is very similar, like the way they draw the eyes, right? So there's a little bit of that nostalgia on my side when I look at the figures design at least. Too Hard too as well, Kosaka Tamaki, very similar, man. Alright, moving on to the next one here. You see? Is someone from Phat Company actually watching my videos and yeah, taking notes of my complaints? Because that would be a great thing. I'm not really looking for any recognition from figure companies directly. I don't really care about that. But it would be nice if they actually hear, at least listen to some of my complaints. Because this figure over here, this Sophia F. Sharing from Bunny Suit Planning, because we don't have enough figures of her. This is the kind of like higher tier Phat Company figure that I would totally expect to end up as an Ami exclusive. Whenever Phat Company comes with something that is extraordinarily beautiful, they slap an exclusive label on it. And this isn't the case today. I was very surprised, right, when I saw this figure listed on HLJ. And should you get it, for once, I would say yes, even though this is a Phat Company figure, and I know that I have been quite hard on them with their quality control on their paintwork specifically, because their sculpt is always on point. It is that last step over there, the paintwork and the finishing, that they sometimes really screw up. But if they can get it right, I can always recommend their stuff, no question. So, I mean, to see a higher tier Phat Company figure get listed everywhere else, that is incredible. And this is an 18 plus figure apparently on Hobby Link Japan. And while I have not scrolled through all of the pictures, I'm going to assume that her top is cast offable, which is why 18 plus. So yeah, pre-order it. This is beautiful that I would give this a chance. This is even one of the top Sophia F. Showing figures out there, top 3. One of the best figures of her is by either Amakuni or Vertex. I think Vertex. Yeah, the mecha suit one, I think that's Vertex, over 40,000 yen. But this one would sit right there in second or third place after that one. Yeah, this is beautiful, assuming that they get it right, of course. Moving on to the next one here, another 1/6 scale. We have Shubi Nekomimi version deluxe edition with milestone distribution limited bonus by Kiwi Toys, Chinese figure brand. Almost 12,000 yen September release this September. While I do not have any plans to pre-order, I love my lollies and I'm getting this. I want it. The only problem being sometimes I do not bookmark the figures I want in MFC or anywhere else, and then I completely forget about it until a month or two after she was released. And then while browsing figure sites, be it HLG or Taobao, then I see it in stock. Oh yeah, I wanted this one, I forgot about her. So I end up a few months late, but better be late than never, I suppose. So hey, I gotta remind myself to bookmark this thing. And there is a plaster, a patch on her waist. What happens over there? I still can't decide whether to get the standard version or the bonus version. The standard version is 10,000 yen, like less than 2,000 yen difference. Why not go all out, right? Like I always say, the thing is that if the extra stuff that I'm paying for are customable parts or extra faceplates, yes, please. But merchandise, wall scroll, not my kind of thing. I see some anime collectors, figurine collectors, their whole room is full of posters and wall scrolls and stuff hanging on the wall. And that is not my kind of thing, because that would mean driving a lot of nails into the wall, or even using a lot of velcro and tapes and so on, sticking my wall with all kind of stuff, and then there will be stains later on. Yeah, not the cleanup process later, if I don't want to display those stuff anymore, would be a big pain. Granted, I am a figure photographer. If I want to hang something on my wall, then it would be my own photography works rather than these artworks in general. So yeah, there we go. Yes, get it. Pre-order it if you love her and you don't want to forget about her. Pre-order it. Alright, moving on to the next one here from Azur Lane. We have Bremerton again. Like, how many figures of Bremerton already? A lot, right? Just like New Jersey, Bremerton is one of very few Azur Lane characters that keeps getting new figures. This is the steel illustration version by Apex Toys, just under 20,000 yen. May release, that's next year, May 2026. Okay, great value. Like, there is virtually nothing to complain about Apex Toys nowadays. Their figures are so good that, yeah, I just really don't know what to say anymore, man. Should I promote them to S tier in my figure companies? I'm not sure yet, but it is not like they are perfect, you know. The figure that I just unboxed recently, Fu Xian, I would say she's like 95% perfect. Just a couple of small things which shouldn't be there and it would be perfect, but still, that is the kind of issue that you see happening to literally every figure brand nowadays. No matter how good they are, there will be a select few copies out there that are not quite perfect, like almost there but not quite perfect. So back to this Bremerton figure over here. If you like her, by all means go ahead and pre-order it. You guys know how high of an opinion I have about Apex Toys. Just that there is one thing over here with the character design that triggers me a bit, triggers my OCD a bit, and that is that love shape sticker on one oppai but not the other. So it looks unbalanced to me. I don't necessarily want my anime characters or mecha robots to be symmetrical. Like, a lot of Gundams is one rifle in one hand and a shield on the other hand that makes them asymmetrical. Black Rock Shooter, one cannon in one hand, nothing in the other hand, asymmetrical. Sometimes asymmetrical characters can look really beautiful. And you see many anime characters, they have like one leg with stocking, one leg without stocking, or the stocking is torn on one side, not the other, but it still looks weirdly attractive, right? But for some reason, this Bremerton figure having, one side with that love shape on the oppai but not the other, it triggers me a bit. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have two Umam Musum figures over here by Claynell. The first one is Karen-chan signature racewear version. 21,300 yen, December release, December again. You know, because I don't really have much interest in Umam Musum, so in general, I keep like not paying attention to them in some way. But the more I think about it, they really get a lot of scale figures nowadays. It feels like they're getting more figures than FGO itself. Yeah, that says a lot. 21k is great. It is a great price, like not too expensive, not too cheap at the same time. And Claynell, or formerly known as Revolve, their figures are very good nowadays. If you were to ask me about my opinion on Revolve 5 years, 7 years ago, it was mid, but nowadays they're getting a lot better. And the second one here by the same company, we have White Wings Alight Hoko Tarumae from Umam Musum again, 24,300 yen, January 2025 release. Now, this is a more complex figure compared to the other one. Slightly more complex, not by much, but another 3,000 yen. Usually, it is the number of parts, like that uniform, that outfit she's wearing has more separate parts that need to be molded separately, painted separately before they glue it. Yeah. More parts means a larger mold or more steel molds, which means higher cost. Yeah. Okay, let's see. I could have displayed this figure next to an Idolmaster figure and nobody could tell that they are from different series. Moving on to the next one here. So how many angry comments are there on Instagram and X when Good Smile Company posted this figure? Why are you guys designing and making underage characters? Is it so hard to make characters at least 18? Like, shut up. If you want to indulge in Japanese subcultures like anime, then learn to follow the Japanese subculture. Like, every country, every tribe, every race have their own culture. And you don't have the right to tell people to change their culture. Yeah. So back to this figure, Kana Holiday version by Good Smile Company, 18,000 yen January release. I find it hard to decide whether to get this one or to get the one by Good Smile Arts Shanghai. And I think Solarin has one too, right? Because all three are just really nice. But if you want reassurance, you want to be certain the figure will come out nice, right? Will not have much QC issues, then Good Smile Company is worth relying on. They're not always perfect. They do screw up occasionally, but in general, 80-90% of the figures, they turn out fine. And 18,000 yen is quite the bargain. I know that this is a small character, short character, which is why she is kind of cheap. Makes sense actually, despite all those props around her. But still, overall for 18,000 yen, not too bad. I mean, Japanese yen is kind of weak nowadays, and personally, in my opinion, I don't see the currency strengthening anytime soon. So this is a great time for anime figure collectors. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one here, we have two figures from Decyrus, a Chinese figure brand, but HLJ insists on labeling them as PM Office A or Plum. You know, there is a select few figure companies out there where whenever they have something new on pre-order, Ami and HLJ will always label them very differently. Especially with E-Stream Shibuya Scramble figure, that is what Ami calls them. But when the same figure goes on Hobby Link Japan, they insist on naming them made by Cyber Agent, which is the parent company of E-Stream and Shibuya Scramble figure. Now, if HLJ is not changing things, they insist on naming it PM Office A when it is by Decyrus. That brings up the question. Is Decyrus like a Chinese branch of PM Office A? It is likely. There are Japanese companies with Chinese branches. Kadokawa and Good Smile Company are one of them. And I think one of the wing companies, I'm not sure if it is Wings Incorporated or Wing Incorporated. One of the wing companies, they have Chinese brands as well. I mean Chinese branches. So it is not completely wild to think of Decyrus being related to PM Office A in some way. I don't think there is anything of this sort being mentioned in myfigurecollection.net's database, but when HLJ keeps insisting these are by PM Office A, maybe there is some connection. I'm still learning something new every day, you see. So back to this figure over here, Lilia. This is a re-release. I remember this figure very well because she is still widely available in China, in Taobao, yes. And bargain bin. Can find one for like 500, 600 Chinese yuan. Not too far off this 19,000 yen price tag over here, but it is still a few thousand yen cheaper. Perhaps she is more popular than expected in Japanese markets because Japanese market is so different from China. There are figures that sell out in Japan but widely available in China and also vice versa, right? Like FGO figures, some of them do bargain bin in Mandarake in Amazon after some time, but over in China, their price remain high all the time. And if I want to go back to buy some new FGO figures, I will go back to getting them from Japan, that's the thing. One more thing about this figure is that it is quite mid in terms of detail level. Some shading on the hair, but only the hair. Everywhere else, it is like plain white, plain black. I've seen the user pictures and also the figure in person. So this is a bit like looking at Kotobukiya's cheaper scale figures, Art FX, J, and so on. Yeah. At the same time, this is also one of their earliest releases by this seater, like one of their first 3 scale figures to be released. Since day one, the figure company existed in a way. Yeah, their oldest figure in a way. So not too surprised that it is not as good, but obviously there is demand, otherwise why would they re-release it? However, the next figure over here, this is Peak Deciter. From the same company, we have Alchemist figure. 26,000 yen is really expensive, down from 29,000 yen, man. 29k, this is hands down their most expensive scale figure at this point. But if they get the figure right, this is exactly what I'm getting. I can justify that 26k price tag. This is right up my alley, my kind of character design, my kind of childbearing hips over there, like lolly plus childbearing hips are the best thing ever. And details. I just keep emphasizing the details. But there is one more thing that might make me like this figure even more, is that this really reminds me of this pair of Blue Archive twin characters with the same hair color, green hair color. And they were lollies as well. I don't remember their names obviously, but if you play or watch Blue Archive, you might know which character I'm referring to. This is very similar. Well, I'm not pre-ordering one right now, but this is one of the main highlights this week, together with Sophia and Lila Decyrus earlier. But I really want one, man. I really want this figure. Oh, expensive. Okay, moving on to the next one here. This has to be one of the most underwhelming skill figures this week. And it has to come from Flare, which is a branch of Alter. You know, when I posted this figure, there were quite a few disappointed Nikke fans who said that this figure looks cheap. And I actually agree with them. I really liked my Alice figure, by the way. Yeah, Nikke Alice figure by the same company, Flare. Is it because of her hair? Dark brown hair, almost black color in a way. 23,000 yen March release. To me, it feels like her hair is like a black hole in outer space. It is sucking in everything, including visible light itself. So it is making her face look dull and dark. Like, I could barely appreciate the details on her eyes, especially. Yeah, some characters, right? The character design, they have very nice eye designs, right? The iris. And for this one, I just couldn't appreciate that part of the face, the eyes. It is really dark. But the photograph itself is not dark. Not the photographer, like, in terms of exposure, the brightness of the image, it is okay. It is normal. So I don't think it is a dark image, but rather the hair is really, yeah, taking away the shine from the figure in a way, because everything else is so damn detailed. Her outfit, it is just bikini, but all those small touches around the design is making her look very detailed. The problem I have is, yeah, the hair color, character design, and the pose. Like I said, this feels like looking at a tree log. The same thing I said about 2B earlier. That face over there reminds me of a Lucky Star character as well, no? I can't remember the name, obviously, but yeah. The face expression, like, the face expression you see in someone who doesn't care about everything, yeah. Hard to recommend. Yes, hard to recommend. I saw this figure in which event was it? Was it One Fest? I think it was One Fest back in February. But I was a bit reluctant to comment too much too early because it was a prototype, right? But now that we get to see the final product photos, yeah, not feeling it. Like, this is one of the least attractive Nikke scale figures out there. Moving on to the next one here, we have Echidna stealing, the maid uniform from Ram or Ram's wardrobe. From ReZero, and this is 1/8 scale by Kadokawa. Why 1/8? Sometimes, 1/8 scale was the standard back in year 2010 or so. Like, many of the best or most detailed scale figures were 1/8 scale before 2010. 1/7 scale was starting to gain traction later on, like a few years after that. Yeah, I think was Saber Lily Distant Avalon was the first 1/7 scale I can think of that really popularized 1/7 scale. And then there was Alter's Fate Testarossa, True Sonic Form, that giant box figure, 1/7 as well. But Blackrock Shooters and Miku's back then, they were all 1/8. So I guess I'm just spoiled at this point. January 2026 release for Echidna wearing this outfit. I'm not keen on it. Echidna has this really nice figure where she is sipping tea. Yeah, in front of the desk with an umbrella. I think that was by Kadokawa as well, right? She wears her black dress, yeah, sipping tea in front of a nice table. I would rather you get that one, assuming that you can still find it at the normal price. That is way nicer. And I think Phoenix, right? Phoenix of Furio has a nice skill of her wearing this really flashy gothic dress. It is Furio, probably not as good as I make it sound to be, but yeah, they look better than this one for sure. Anyways, there are other options. Check those out before you put down the pre-order on this figure. Moving on to the next one, now we go into 1/8 scale territory. I believe there are two figures here. The first one is Rin Okumura from Awo no Exorcist. I stopped at season 1. I finished season 1, but that was it. And this figure was revealed to us in the Kotobukiya collection event in early February. Back then, I commented that there is a guarantee they'll put a support rod because the sample, the prototype displayed back then did not have a support rod. Yeah, there we go. Can't avoid it. You can't avoid it. This figure needs it. That is like a 50-55 degree angle of leaning. So this is 22,500 yen October release. Seems like Kotobukiya cannot escape inflation, right? Art FXJ figures used to be under 20,000 yen, most if not all of the time. Nowadays, they are breaching the 20k mark. Part of it could be licensing cost, of course, but yeah, prices are going up. For fans of Blue Exorcist, maybe get it. This is a nice figure. Moving on to the next 1/8 scale. Wow. Reverse Studio, Chinese figure brand, is making a figure from Reverse Collapse. Man, that is like jinxing themselves, you know? Reverse Studio, Reverse Collapse. Codename Bakery Jeffrey. I think Girls Frontline has a character of the same name, right? I think. I'm not necessarily correct, but I think. March release 2026 for 7,000 yen. Like, I know nothing about this character. I don't know the game she's coming from, but 7,000 yen, why not? This is nice. Is this a Girls Frontline figure? Like, if you told me Reverse Collapse is a Girls Frontline spin-off, yeah, that could be the case over here because the logo, right? The logo of the game is so familiar, so similar to Girls Frontline. And this also reminds me of the sci-fi version, the science fiction version of Girls Frontline, which is Neural Cloud. Like, the name is so different from Girls Frontline. Normally, you would never thought of, you know, any connections until you see the main character being, yeah, PA-15 in some way. Let me know down in the comments below. I think this is a spin-off of Girls Frontline. Anyways, yeah, this is worth it. 7,000 yen only, obviously. Moving on to the next one here from Rebos. Okay, now we are going into low budget figure territory. But sometimes it is hard to really draw a line on what I consider as budget because, yeah, the figure I just covered, that is also a budget figure. But just because there is an official scale, I call it a scale figure. That's the thing. It is difficult for me as well to really classify things. This is Weibo's Rise Up Plus Honkai Star Rail Little Cat series Silver Wolf, 9,000 yen, coming out in November. And boy, yep, this was popular, pretty popular. Obviously, this is so adorable, man. Not the kind of figure I would collect. Like, yes, I love my lollies, but this is a bit too lolly in a way. Maybe the right word to describe the kind of lolly characters I like are the ones that are kind of like semi-matured in a way. Like the one I said earlier, the joke I made earlier about lolly with childbearing hips, like they have the body shape and proportion of an adult, yet they're kind of small, kind of chibi. That kind I really like. This is like children throughout and not my kind of thing. So that's the difference. However, with cute stuff like this, I mean, I don't mind having one, I don't mind reviewing one, but not my primary focus. Ami labeled this as an exclusive, I believe, but it is more of Ami bonus. You get an Ami extra if you want. Yeah, then you go and pre-order it there for like 9,900 yen, extra 900 yen only. Moving on to the next one, we have pop-up rate L. It is so incredible that Good Smile really listened to my suggestions. Back then, they conducted a survey asking us what do we like to see from them in terms of what figures do we want, and yeah, all kinds of questions where you can give them suggestions. That was at least a year ago or 2 years ago by now. And I did email them in the survey. My request was really simple. On top of the FGO stuff that I asked for, I requested for more pop-up rate L because it feels like the best balance between size and price. The normal pop-up rate is, small, and because there are small QC issues will appear, it is harder to paint those figures. Things like that. So I told them pop-up rate L is the best balance. It is like a scale figure, but not too expensive. And today we get like so many pop-up rate Ls. The first one here is Resin Stout, 8,000 yen before discount. October release. And guess what? I can wholeheartedly recommend you to get one. If you are on a lower budget and you still want a figure of Ryza, granted there are so many price figures of her. Taito is making, I think, was it Corful? Taito has a Corful figure of her with an incredible thigh over there, nicely squeezed. Yes, get that one. This one, the thigh sculpt is more, not as extreme as the Taito version, but not bad at the same time. You can consider it. Okay, moving on to the next one, we have Sword Maiden L size from Goblin Slayer 2. Pop-up rate L as well, 8,000 yen September release. Now this looks a little bit bland, isn't it? And she's not wearing a bra. Man, nice. Okay, it is a no-brainer in a way that if you have the existing pop-up rate figures from Goblin Slayer, then you want to continue the series, then yes, get it. Just that her dress, which would normally look quite nice if there is shading, but there isn't any over here because it is a budget figure. Yeah, a little bit on the bland side, but not a bad looking figure overall. Moving on to the next one here, another pop-up rate L. OMG Kawaii Angel, she gets so many figures, but maybe it is because I don't really care much about VTubers in general. Yeah, I haven't been showing much interest in her. This is beautiful. I think it is the paint finish, isn't it? Yeah, that bunny suit is really shiny, really glossy. I like it. This one I can recommend. I would rather you get this over the standard pop-up rate. Yep. There's a standard pop-up rate of her as well. This is nice. Moving on to the next one, pop-up rate SP Special Limes from Saber Marionette J. How many of you are old enough to know what is Saber Marionette J? You see, I'm kind of old, but not old enough. So, judging by the art style of this character, this should be an anime from the 1990s. And if there is one anime series that this character reminds me of, it is Slayers. It had like 5 or 6 seasons from the 1990s as well. And I never watched that series, but the reason why I know about Slayers was because I was a big fan of 90s and early 2000s J-pop. And Megumi Hayashibara, I think she would be in her 50s by now, I think. She did most of the theme songs of Slayers and I loved her song. Yeah. So that is my history with this classic anime. I think I got to know them via J-pop music rather than actually watching the anime itself. 90s mecha anime, Vandrate. Oh, I loved the theme song. So there we go. So this is almost 11,000 yen before any discount, October release. And going by the price over here, this is probably pop-up grade L size. Yeah. The next pop-up grade SP over here is 12,000 yen, Nutcracker Witch from Madoka movie. I don't really want to imagine what it looks or feels like to watch a person's nuts being cracked. Of course, this is subjective, but sometimes I do question why people buy figures of really creepy looking stuff, and this is one of them. Okay, I would rather buy Digimon stuff at this point. Moving on to the next one, another pop-up grade SP, Cellon from Elden Ring, 6,200 yen September release. So see, this is the big price gap over there. The other one was double the price. This is the same size as the standard pop-up grade. While the other two earlier, they are actually pop-up grade L size. Yeah, so I feel like this is pretty confusing. Good Smile should name those as like pop-up grade L, SP, and pop-up grade SP just to differentiate them. Moving on to the next one. What is this? Oh, yeah. That dog is... How do I even describe this? Like, I got to know that dog from memes on the internet. So Sho Tucker and Nina Chimera from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood. Yep. The first time I was introduced to these two characters, it was via memes on the internet. For hardcore FMAB fans, I wouldn't buy this. Okay, moving on to the next one here from Kingdom Hearts 2. We have Formism Rico, which means, yep, Square Enix. 6,800 yen August release. I was holding back myself, like, Steven, stop criticizing until you check out all of the pictures. Don't jump to conclusions. Obviously, there is some kind of bias, like some figure brands, the moment I see their names, I have less nice things to say, but Square Enix, the normal advice I would give is to wait until after release, check out user pics. Not worth pre-ordering early. Moving on to the next one here. Okay, the last 4 figures over here, I'll just go through them quickly. Chibi figures from Final Fantasy, by Square Enix. Tiny figures like this for 6,800 yen, I'm not sure, man. 6,800 yen. Arif, and lastly, Cloud. Yeah, so there we go. That is all for the figures on HLJ this week. Moving on to Ami for some exclusive stuff and also the Edgy section later, which they often have an exclusivity on, even though they never really explicitly mention it. So the first one here from Kyoskyo, we have original character Priestess Shibuna art by Dish. 1/7 scale, 26,000 yen, big ouch. You know, I shared this picture in my Discord server. I haven't checked the price yet. And then I told everyone, there's no way this thing is under 25k because Kyoskyo figures are not cheap, but they are very good. And then hours later, I went to Ami and saw this 26k. I mean, yep, sounds about right. So with this figure, as you scroll through the pictures, there is some inconsistency. In some pictures, her skin looked darker, while in others, not so dark, right? And I would say it is mostly down to image editing, photography. So I wouldn't worry too much. I think the actual figure is not that dark. This is just the right amount of brown for a dark skinned character. I really like this a lot. I want it badly, in fact. But it is an Ami exclusive, and you know, it is not like, how do I even say this? It is not like I don't like Ami. In fact, I regard their customer service to be one of the best. I experienced it myself in the past. But for me, being someone in Malaysia, Ami is like a big red flag in a way that the customs department, the people there, they know what is Ami. And then whenever a box from Ami arrives at the department, the big Ami words on the box, they don't even have to open it to know what are the contents, and they would seize it, they would detain it, and then you will be in a tax hellhole. It is not like our tax are that high to begin with, 10%. It is worse in Europe, 23, right? 23% of VAT. But still, sometimes we like to gamble with luck. Like, there will be occasions where your parcel just slip through the customs department and they just let it pass, right? But with Ami boxes, that is not happening. That's the thing. Of course, if you go for sea freight, there are still chances that it will slip through the customs and you don't have to pay any taxes. But air freight, no chance. Like, they see Ami on the box, you're busted. Hobby Link Japan is not too different, which is why I like to buy scale figures from Chinese websites a lot, from Taobao a lot, because their boxes are unlabeled. You will not know what are the contents until you open it, right? Other than looking at the declaration form, of course. So, in terms of legally evading tax, right? This is like betting on the chance where the customs just let it pass without checking. So, to bet on a higher chance of not having to pay taxes, yeah, I don't want my boxes to have any labels on it. Like Amazon, Hobby Link Japan, Ami, that's the thing. And Ami is a store that is so famous by now that you can't escape. So back to this Shibuna figure. You see, I went on a long rant on Ami and my customs because I want this figure. And I could only get it from Ami. Oh yeah. So recently, not recent, but since last year, FOTS has started taking pre-orders for genuine licensed figures as well. And I saw this figure on FOTS. Maybe I should pre-order it over there instead. The slight disadvantage is that on FOTS you need to place down a small deposit whenever pre-order any figure. While Japanese websites, you don't have to deposit anything, which is why people like it so much, because if they don't want the figure later, they can just cancel their pre-orders. You don't get to do that with Chinese websites unless that figure is cancelled, delayed, or you have a legitimate reason to cancel it. Then they will refund your deposit. Yeah, maybe I should consider pre-ordering this from FOTS instead. Alright, moving on to the next one. This is not an Ami exclusive, but Amakuni figures, they almost never show up in HLJ for some reason. Yeah, they couldn't find a supplier, I guess. So in a way, indirectly, they are exclusive. Well, doesn't matter. Because this time around, for this figure of Nonomi swimsuit version from Blue Archive, this is so generic, so plain, so boring that I'm not interested at all. So what? Well, take your Ami exclusive. I don't care, Amakuni. 24,000 yen for this is really expensive. This figure reminds me of a swimsuit figure. Was it a Love Life or a Vivid Red Operation swimsuit figure? I can't remember. Like the same exact yellow bikini over there, just that the head is a different character. In my opinion, not really worth it. You see, Good Smile Company is coming up with Blue Archive scale figures, which are also swimsuit. They were like 16,000, 18,000 yen. This 24k. I know Amakuni is really good. In some ways, sometimes their finishing quality on the paintwork can be better than Good Smile, but 24k, I'm not so sure of this one. Yeah. Moving on to the next one. This is already on pre-order. Okay, Ami exclusive bonus. So this is on the front page of Ami this week, but already on pre-order for a couple of weeks by now. And yeah, there you go. This Silver Wolf, 9,900 yen with Ami bonus if you want it. Moving on to the next one. Yes, age restricted section of Ami. We have 4 figures here. The first one, Ie original illustration Meito-san. 1/6 scale by Rocket Boy, 27,500 yen. Yep, obviously customable. You have parts that you can swap out. 27k is just right for something like this. Well, I'm not a fan of her face. Her face looks too sad, man. I already have too much depresso in my life that sometimes I need espresso to make myself feel better. So I don't need another figure that looks like she's depressed. Yeah. Okay, and moving on to the next one here. Oh, this is going to be a best seller, isn't it? Not on HLJ, because this is like, I don't know, man. It is not an exclusive on Ami. Maybe HLJ will list it next week. But speaking of the box label earlier, yeah, I can get this on OSGK as well. Maybe, yeah, I should consider pre-ordering genuine figures from there from now onwards as well. Like another option for me to consider. So with this Lulumo figure, there are two different versions. Otherwear version and party look version. This is important. The one you're looking at, the international version, the global version, is the party look version. And they're offering it in standard and deluxe version. Obviously, I always get the deluxe one because that is where you get an additional hadaka part for the body on top of additional merch in the box, right? So the standard version, the safe for work version, there is a version made by Otherwear, which is the mainland China market version. Regional differences, right? The same figure but different packaging, different branding because of regional differences where the content of the package is different. So if the Otherwear one, since it is the mainland China version, it means that you can't cast her off. That is a big loss. Should you decide to pre-order this figure on OSGK instead of Ami for any reason, my reason is the boxers. Then what you should be doing is choosing the party look version, not the Otherwear version. You can select the options, choose the party look version and click on the deluxe version. Yeah. Getting back to this figure, from 34,000 yen, we go down to 30,690 yen. That is a big discount, by the way, 10% off. And I see what you did there, Ami, they want to 69 the figure as well. So yeah, 690 at the end over there. Anyways, this discount alone could be enough of a justification to pre-order it on Ami unless you don't want or can't pre-order her over here for any reason. Moving on to the next figure. Alright, before I forget, the standard version, 26,700 yen. Nope, get the deluxe one. Okay, and the last figure over here, wow. Luisa Richter, illustration by Kurosugatari. Alright, 1x5 scale, Pleiades, 31,000 yen almost. October 2025 release. Pleiades as an edgy figure brand, their stuff is excellent. Just that they keep making stuff that I don't like because I don't like... Yeah, let me just say it bluntly, right? I don't like fat ones. I mean, slightly meaty characters, slightly plump characters can be kind of hot sometimes, but this is not my kind of thing. Speaking of meaty characters, there is a new Nikke character, isn't it? The name is Brady. Some of you call it Breedy because she's very breedable. Yeah, maybe FOTS Company will make a figure of her. Not sure if you get the joke. Alright, moving on to Ninin game. For, yeah, Inside Be Full figures this week. First one here, Erotic Ghost Encyclopedia. Mirai-chan and the Invisible Man, 1x5 scale, 22,200 yen, releasing in... Is it September again? Yep, September. It is so difficult to see. Alright. Moving on to the next one here, we have Service Idol Handshake Event Konoha Akari 1x5 scale, 22k, September release as well. How many figures does Inside release in 1 month? Last week, there were like three figures, all coming out in September. Now more in September. Next one here, Small Opai Tent Elf in Sukumizu. Now this one I like. 1x5 scale, 22k, September release as well. Next one, oh, Futa Girl Shizuku, 1x5 scale, 23k. That PP down there needs a little bit more material, so a little bit more expensive. 23 instead of 22,000 yen. September release again. And the last one here, two versions. The first one, the no Pansu version, is by Insight, 22K, and coming out in November. And the Safe for Work version by FOTS Japan. Damn, we're getting the dude down there. If I were to disregard the quality issues associated with this brand, this whole package, 1x5 scale, and literally 1.5 figures you're getting for 22,000 yen. If this was a proper PVC figure that does not have much issues, I would tell you guys to go and pre-order it already. Yeah. So this version, Gao Look Chirps Cheerleader. 22K for the safe version, releasing in November by FOTS Japan. That is all for genuine licensed PVC figures on pre-order this week. Now we move on to third parties making use of FOTS, which is our affiliate partner as well, just like HLJ. If you are interested in buying anything from HLJ or FOTS, please do make use of my affiliate links down in the descriptions below. Just click on the link, enter these websites, and you can just go around, browse around, and yeah. That is how we help out this channel. Now, moving on to resin figures over here. There is no week without Anya spam. This week is no different. 6 of them this week. First one, Anya Forger costs Yellow Wind Demon. I'll help you. No idea what is this. Right, pink or yellow hair. Right, let's see the yellow hair one. Even the face isn't very nice. The face looks a bit off over here. Not a fan of it. This is by Variety Studio, $98 each, releasing in September. The next Anya here, this one we have a crying face. At least she's adorable. Anya costs Azur by Deep Studio. What Azur? No idea. This is where I will feel conflicted because I would want that blindfold on because it is a reference to a very specific character. But I want to see her cry as well. Smart face too. Man, it will be hard deciding what face to choose to display this figure. Next Anya figure, we have Cost Pirates from One Piece, right? $109 can have her in pink hair or black hair. If anything, they got the face expression right. Variety Studio as well. Next Anya figure here. Oh yeah, is this from the movie? Damn, I keep forgetting to watch the Code White movie, man. I already have a copy in my computer. So this is by Waku Waku Studio. They are like Anya specialist in a way, so this could be a nice get. Just that I think there is a Sega prize figure in this similar spy outfit. So this is a bit hard to justify. Next Anya here, Pirate Anya Series number 1 by Bio Studio. Primary color and different color. Must be a One Piece cosplay. I recognize the outfit at least. But man, the pose and the base is really nice. This is very nice, man. Probably the best Anya figure this week, this one right here. Next one, we have Ice Hockey Girl by ZH Studio. They do a lot of Anya figures as well. Primary color, pink hair. Oh, this is nice. I love the colors. Turquoise and pink, they always go very well together. Yeah, get the pink hair if you want this one. The white hair is... it is okay, but the pink hair stands out a lot more. Next one here, from Bleach, we have Yoruichi Shihorin by Guanzhou Studio. Right, whatever. $124 at... This is either 17 or 18. 26 cm, 1x7 scale. Yeah, 26 is borderline 1x6 already, but you gotta factor in the base over here. So the figure is like 23 cm maybe, 23 to 24. That would make her 1x7. Yep. Okay. Oh, they are showing us the face sculpt already, and it is amazing. This is something that should be made in PVC, not resin. But are there any materials? Yeah, resin, unfortunately. It is what it is. Moving on to the next one here, we have 3 One Piece figures. And oh, what is this, man? I think last week I covered something similar, right? It feels like a Nando, but not a Nando at the same time. Is this the same figure or a different variant? I think a different variant. September release at $56. Nah. No comment. Moving on to the next one here, One Piece New Giant Warrior Pirates 01 Gert, right, by Black Studio, September 25 release, $272. No, this is not worth $272, man. Too expensive for what it is. No extra parts, right? No special base, nothing, yup, none. This is worth $150, $160 at most. Moving up next, we have a Boa Hancock by Venus Studio, $245 and at 16. And there is also a pop scale at $178. What's the difference? Pop scale is normally 17 to 18. Let me have a look. Pop scale is 30 centimeters, 1/6 is 36. Not too different. Why bother? So 30 cm in this pose would be closer to 1/8. Should have given us like 17 and 14 or 16 and 14. To give us 18 and 16 scale is weird because the size difference is really not that big. Especially for something where, you know, the footprint is quite limited. It is not like the figure is dashing forward or running. The figure does not take up much space to begin with because of the pose. So 18 and 16 is not going to make much of the difference on the shelf. Faces, yep, no problem over here. Just that I've seen better Boa Hancock figures for sure. Nice face though. Alright, moving on to the next one here. Artisan Studio Dragon Ball Android 18, $230 at 1/6 scale, releasing in December. Is this action figure? Yeah, it is. What do you think? It does look like Android 18, but at the same time, it feels like Scarlett Johansson in some way. Yeah, realistic face, that is why, right? Okay, moving on to the next one, we have Rising Sun Studio Detective Conan Beach Eye Habara. $92 September release. I know the figures I'm covering right now are kind of meh, but we will be getting to the good stuff pretty soon. $92 is expensive. This is expensive. Moving on to the next one, Dragon Studio, Final Fantasy Little Tifa. For those of you who like it young, I prefer the current Tifa. The adult one, it feels just right. $207 at 1/4 scale. Because it is short and releasing in March 2021. Man, how can you type 1 instead of 6 mistakenly when they are so far apart on the keyboard? Be it a numpad or the normal keyboard. Anyways, let's have a look at the face. Weird face. This is a really weird face. What? Oh, that looks horrible. This is the worst resin figure this week, hands down. The face looks really weird. Like the eyes are very far apart. Don't you think? If you obey the speed limit, maybe you can expect to spend maybe 69 minutes, to drive from the left eye to the right eye in a Tesla. Moving on to the next one here, from Yi Chi Fang Studio and Polaris Studio. This is a 1/4 scale original character at $510, and since this is their own original character, indirectly it means it is a licensed figure. December release. Mecha, futuristic, cyberpunk. Oh, we have LED in the base. Are they implying that? That would be cool. Yeah, seems to be the case over here. This is like, a generic science fiction figure. Think with so many Chinese brands doing their own original character with a realistic face, they need to differentiate themselves more, because it feels like, even though it is their own original characters, because of their over reliance on this realistic face and the beauty standards over in China, what kind of face they like. Even though different artists, different people are behind these different figures from different brands and studios, they end up looking alike. They end up looking similar. It is like over in Korea where everyone goes to their favorite plastic surgeon and then everyone looks the same. Something like that. So it is a problem that I'm starting to see with these original characters with realistic faces coming out of China. They all look the same. It is like the same character cosplaying different outfits. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one here. This is an update from last week. We now have a price and more pictures of this Saber figure from Fate Stay Night by Artbox Studio. If you go for the deluxe version, which is like more accessories, I think, $484, which is not bad at all, releasing this December. And last week I said that her outfit, her paintwork looks a little bit dull. It looks better now, but still on the dull side. Oh, two different face expressions. The really stern look over there, the serious look, and the other one. Alright. The alternative face is quite nice as well. The Excalibur, they're using transparent material. I think this is where the deluxe version comes in, isn't it? They give you different versions of the sword as well. Like, this transparent sword looks amazing when on display, but as a photographer, I'll tell you that it looks terrible in photographs. It looks like holding a plastic sword, a toy sword. That's the thing. Some materials that they use to make figures, they look good in person as a display piece, but in photographs, not necessarily. That's the thing. So I would like to have options. So yes, this actually looks good despite my mini complaints about the color being a little bit dull. Should you go for this, get the deluxe one. The price is not too different. If I remember correctly, the regular one is $451, the deluxe $484. What is $30 when you're spending $500 on the statue? Yeah, go all out. Moving on to the next one from Chocobo Studio, we have Ada Wong from Resident Evil. Why is Ada Wong the only one getting figures? Aren't there other characters in Resident Evil? $239, releasing in December. Everything in December, this is fixed statue, fixed pose. Alright, they have a sample here. Not bad. A little bit of shading on her hair would be nice though. Moving on to the next one here from Real World Studio, we have Jujutsu Kaisen Nobara Kugisaki. Okay, there are several versions over here, with or without DLC. I think in this case, it is the base. A bigger base, not cast off. Okay, and the most expensive one is $504. Let me have a look at the pictures. With this specific character, Nobara, right? The one that really had quite an impression on me was the one by S-Fire Sega. Yes, 25,000 yen or so at 1/7 scale, has all these red color effect parts around her, and the uniform was like super shiny or something like that. The blue uniform, the same uniform here. Yeah, the S-Fire one, check out that one. There we go, simpler base for the cheaper version. DLC must be this. They give you a second stand for to display the extra head. Version A on the left, version B in the middle, version C, the smaller one, middle right, and version D, bust figure only. You can buy the bust figure only, but why would you do that? Okay, now you can see it. Yeah, version D. Bust figure only. Why would anyone buy that? Alright. Moving on to the next one here from How Cute Studio, we have Sailor Moon, Sailor Mars. Regular version and light version. Regular version, $167. Light version, what's the difference? Pictures, at least they look the same. It is not like the light version is lighter. She is already lighter than the latest Snow White movie. Uh, no description. Come on, man. We need more details. Because this actually looks quite nice. I can't believe that I'm attracted to this figure. Alright, moving on to the next one here. We have a 1x8 scale power from Chainsaw Man by Search Studio. $128 releasing in June 25. Wow, in 2 months. Yep. 1x8 scale. I've checked the scale below already in advance. Oh, they are competing with that Tifa figure earlier for the worst face of this week. That is it the eye placement or is it the shape of the face? Oh, that looks so derpy. No. Okay, when I look closer, it doesn't look as bad, but something still feels a little bit wrong. I'm not sure where. And that is the only picture of her face I got. There are no more face pictures, unfortunately. Well, good news is that there are so many genuine PVC figures of power out there. Like, way too many. Just look for them. If Ami or HLJ is sold out, go and look for them in Mandarake. Yeah. Moving up next, we have a Lucy Hatfilia Star Dress Leoform by Yaumo Studio from Fairy Tail. December release, $160. If I can't undress her, which I can't, I would just go and buy the Pop Up Rate L at this point. So here's the thing with third parties I've noticed lately. Ever since, the Chinese government started cracking down on those 18 plus figures, it is like, how do I even describe this? It is like they are lost. They don't know what to do. Like, they were so reliant on those cultured stuff in order for their business to survive, and now that option is out of the window, they don't know what to do next. Only a few companies who are creative enough, who have better designers or artists, who can really do something, make something that people actually still want to buy, even without all those cultured parts. That's the thing. When you show me a figure like this and compare it to a genuine PVC figure, there is like almost zero reasons, no reasons for me to prefer this over a genuine PVC figure, which is cheaper and less fragile, no? In my opinion, at least, my subjective opinion is that third-party resin figures have always been the kind of product meant to fill in a vacancy, an empty segment of a market where the genuine licensed figure brands are not addressing, right? Like, the genuine brands are not making these characters from this game or this anime and so on. They come and fill in because people want it, but there are none of it. So there is an empty market over there for them to capitalize on. But you make a figure of a character where there is an abundance of supply out there already, and you offer nothing new or innovative. How do you expect people to pay for it? That power figure earlier is exactly the same thing. Yeah. Okay, moving on to the next one here. PPDF Studio licensed figure with Incarnation by Yue Kui. There are some figures of her, not many. Some really pricey 1x4 scales as well. This is $165 at 1x7 scale, releasing in September year 25. I want to know if this is resin or PVC. They only mentioned PU, polyurethane. Polyurethane is usually used for the skin region, right? It feels like human skin in a way, artificial skin. So I'm going to assume that the core material is still resin. PU is used for only the surface of the skin, the outermost layer. I see the outfit and the character design over here. I would display her next to a motorcycle. Yeah. Alright. nothing much really, nothing too special. Moving on to the next one from Goblin Slayer, we have another Sword Maiden. Yeah, even though this is Hadaka, that is all you get. It's not like you can push her hand aside to, yeah, to enjoy her glory melons, and you can get her in white stockings or bare legs, $153. Alright, here's another thing. Detail is on the low side for 1/6 scale, but at that price point, maybe I won't complain too much. Yeah. This is obviously for those of you dry enough that you want a sword maiden with no clothes on, and this is the closest thing you're gonna get. I'm looking at the paintwork and the sculpt on wherever she is clothed, which is her legs, the sofa everywhere, and I'm not seeing much shading, you see, and that is giving off the impression of very low amount of details. So that is my concern over there. Okay, moving on to the next one here. I'm quite surprised that this is a licensed figure, given how cultured this is. Furry Hatsune Miku and Kasane Teto by Juyi Wanja Studio. 2 figures for $163. The scale is close to 1/7 and you can't pre-order it anymore because she is pre-order sold out. Not surprised. Damn. This went on pre-order like on Tuesday or Wednesday. Just a few days later, pre-order sold out. Wow. Furry people, man, they are scary. Yeah. Okay. The next furry figure over here, Homura Studio VTuber Luna. How do you pronounce that? Shaorik. Alright, anyways, no release date yet, but this is a 1/6 scale at $240. Somewhat okay, the price here. And no, not customable, of course. Once again, we have character design problems over here, combined with the choice of paint they used, making the figure look really dark. Yeah, and I couldn't really appreciate the details on the figure. It looks really dark over here. Come on, all the photographer had to do was to pull the shadow slider in editing. So that, yeah, I can see the details on her outfits over here. The shadows are almost clipped already. Clipped shadows means that it is way too dark that you lost details. It is a photography term. Clipped shadows. Right, moving on to the next one here, we have a free-run figure by Jaker Studio. 1/6 scale, September release, $212. This free-run figure over here, I also feel like I need to comment about her face. It is nice, but also a bit off. Once again, I'm not sure how to describe it, but it feels a little bit off. I feel like I'm looking at a different character cosplaying as Free-run, if I have to be honest. Yeah. Otherwise, she does not look too bad, and the shiny gold is, oh, I love that. Shiny gold is my kind of thing. I'm super old school in this regard. I like metallic parts, I like metallic paint. Be it metallic silver or gold, I love them when I see it. So what do you think about this figure, having seen her face earlier? Right? Of course, I'm not saying I'm right. Maybe you feel like the face is okay, it is accurate. But yeah, it is what it is. Price-wise, $212 is reasonable considering the base you're getting, and you're getting 1/6 scale. Moving on to the next one here, we have Ganyu in JK outfit by Moku Studio, $111 at 1/6 scale. You can get her in barefoot or black stockings version. You know what I would go for? Yes, black stockings. This is an easy choice. Oh, simple figure, but $111. Worth it, really worth it. If you like her, maybe you can consider one. This is 1/6 scale after all. And face-wise, no problem. Her face looks great. Alright, moving on to the next one here, Alicia from Honkai Impacted, and this is another contender this week for one of the worst faces, but I think there's no beating that Tifa earlier. That is the worst face this week. Okay, this is from FOTS Studio, and this really reminds me of a cheap Chinese PVC figure that went on pre-order like 1 month ago. I can't remember the Chinese brand's name anymore. That figure was wearing the same exact outfit, which is red ribbons and nothing else, And she also had pink hair. That figure was like 6,000, 7,000 yen at 1/6 scale. Now, coming back to this Alicia figure, the face or the smile looks a bit weird to me. And I find it hard to recommend. Yes, this is 1/4 scale. And you can get her with actually this wedding dress over here. Right? In this picture, her face looks better now compared to the ribbon version. Maybe it is the lighting. I'm not too sure. Okay, let me take back what I just said about her face. I think it is lighting that makes her face looks a bit weird from some angles. Yeah, the ribbon one just now does not look good at all. The most expensive one is obviously the deluxe one where you get this fabric outfit and then everything about the ribbon underneath this fabric outfit. No. Not my kind of thing. Moving on to the next one, we have Scarlet from Nikke by Ji Jinhui Studio. At 1/6 scale, only $183. June 2025 release very soon. Okay, price-wise, no problems at all. This is a lot of figure. A lot of figure at this $183. And 1/6 scale, nice. Just that, hey, if you are a big Scarlet fan, yes, by all means pre-order it. For me, I'll be waiting for the ones by the genuine brands, right? Good Smile Company has one. Was it Good Smile Company or Good Smile Arts Shanghai? Either one. And the other one, not yet on pre-order. A 1/4 scale is coming soon from Hobby Sakura, I think. It was announced in one fest. However, this is not bad at all. I mean, a different version of Scarlet, different from everything we've seen so far by genuine brands. Moving on to the next one, we have another Red Hood figure by Pineapple Studio, 1/4 scale, $342. So I think you guys already know what I'm about to ask next. Will you get the one by Hobby Sakura, the 1/4 scale with that big ass rifle? Because that is what I would go with. Because of the rifle, it is not just a matter of PVC or resin anymore, right? I love weapons. I love big guns. And by the way, after some procrastination, I have already pre-ordered. I have finally pre-ordered Cinderella. Yes, the 1/4. I've never pre-ordered anything that expensive at 1/4 scale before. That is my first time doing it, by the way. Yeah. So, this is very nice, I have to say. $342. Very nice. I love it. Regardless of my preference for the Hobby Sakura one, it is not like this is bad, this is very nice. The face is spot on, the sculpting is really nice. $342 for a 1/4 scale is also on the affordable side of the scale for resin figures at 1/4 scale. Most third-party resins at 1/4, they are like $500 and up. $342 is already very cheap, yes. So it is still worth considering. Wait, moving on to the next one. This is what I mean by lolly characters with childbearing hips. This is another one. Professor Smart from Blue Archive by Miyin Studio, and she is only $145. That is so cheap that I feel like pre-ordering. Two versions over here. The only difference is the face, right? Okay, so this is version A, I think. Unfortunately, I can't cast her off. This is so sad. And this is version B, yeah, with a slight blush. Yeah, I think version B is better, right? I mean, Professor Smart. We need a smart face. Oh, this is Bear Lake. Bear Lake with a smart face as well. Oh, the face is actually the same. I thought the faces are different. Are they different or are they the same? Regardless, I think I'll go for the stocking ones. It is my kind of thing. Yes, I'll take this one. Oh, this is... Man, this 1/6 scale at 145, man. I'm thinking of pre-ordering it. Coming out in this September. Alright. I have something releasing in August, not September. Unless that August figure gets delayed, then that would be... We'll see. I'm very interested in this one. Right, moving on to the next one from Blue Line Studio. We have Azur Lane Series White Bunny Girl, $185 at 1/6 scale. I think Ultra has a figure of this character, don't they? 1/7 scale, I think they do. Yeah, that is like 25 or 30,000 yen, but I will get the Ultra one first. This one much later. If I want more figure of her, then I can consider. $185 is actually okay because this figure is partially customable. I need to make that clear. Her chest, you can swap it out with, yeah, the bare ones. Not down there though. So $185 at once. Oh, this is not 1.6. This is 1.7, I think. 1.7. 17 cm. 17 cm is closer to 1.7. Very hard to tell, right? I mean, the figure is sitting on the floor. Anyways, the price is still okay because of the cast-off ability of this figure. Moving on to the next one, we have a Shinano from Azur Lane by Dirty Pockets Studio and D-Talent Studio. $183. This one is customable. If you go for the one with the Hadaka DLC, $183, September release. At least there is a reason for you to get this one, even though there is a genuine figure of her out there that went on pre-order like a few months ago, right? She was wearing the same exact bikini, the white bikini. I can't remember which company. And that was an Army exclusive, yup. But this one, you can cast her off. Just that I'm not happy with what I'm seeing with the paint work on her tail, and her hair needs more shading. Last figure of the week. It is going to be a good one, isn't it? I always save the best for the last. Wuthering Waves Phoebe. After school. So she's rubbing herself against the corner of the table over there. I did not get the reference, but so many people were saying this is a reference to something in Code Geass. Alright. And guess what? Get the version with Ahegao face. Yes, get Ahegao face. So indirectly, this is also an edgy figure in a way. Even though you can't fully cast her off. Can you? I think this is like partially cast off. You get some detail down there, but you can't undress her. Good enough. That face is good enough. Highly recommended. $286.87 is on the expensive side, unfortunately. Yeah, but unique pose. We don't get any figures like this. We will never get a genuine figure like this of an existing game character in this pose. So this is worth considering. That is all for figures on pre-order this week. If you found this video maybe educational or informative in some way, then yes, please give it a like, support this channel, subscribe to this channel. It is just one click away and it does not cost you anything. And of course, if you haven't done so, join my community, join my Discord server. All of the links are in the descriptions below if you haven't done so. And until then, I shall see you guys again soon. Thanks for watching and goodbye.